All right, YouTube, doing I guess a little bit of a notebook comparison today. This is the GP65 Leopard, whatever the latest one is, the 10th gen, and this is a GS65, two 15.6 inch, pretty high-end gaming laptops. Trying to figure out which one, or maybe a different one that's going to be my new daily driver. This one right here is the GP65. This thing, one of the features I really like is, see all this? This is all exposed mesh. You can see all inside the machine, and this really helps with it being open like this as far as cooling, especially with using like the cooling pads. This thing right here seems to run really like nice and cool. I did, I guess, break the factory seal because I added a terabyte solid state. This came with a 512 gig, and I added a terabyte. Here's the inside here. Nice keyboards, powered by SteelSeries. I'm pretty sure it's just an MSI kind of keyboard with SteelSeries lighting. This is the i7. I think it's like a 10700 or whatever the new 10th gen is. Here we'll figure it out. Come in here. 10750H, 2.6 gigahertz, 16 gigs of RAM. So it's supposed to be 15% faster. Honestly, this is a 9th gen. I don't really notice anything, honestly. But this is an RTX 2070 non-max Q, 16 gigs of RAM, and a 144 hertz 1080p display. I mean, it's a very, very powerful laptop. This is, so far, this is the one that I'm kind of gearing towards. I really like this one better. I do not like these buttons. I really think that these suck. The trackpad on this isn't as good, and it's weird. For me, it's way off to the side here, which, like, when you're gaming, it's kind of in the way, right? So you think if it was kind of more centered, when you put your hand over here to use like WASD, it would be, you know, in the right spot, but for whatever reason it's off this way. But the machine is black, and then it has like this like gray inside. Really cool keyboard. The screen is great. It's actually made by LG, and it's an IPS 144 hertz. Like, this is 240 hertz, and unless like you're like a Counter-Strike player, or you know, you play a game that you're going to get 240 frames per second, I really think 144 frames is fine. This does have a button here, which I do like. You can probably hear the fans. Basically just puts the fans up to like 100%. And I do like that feature because when I wear headphones, I'll crank that up so that my temperatures are really good. And I think during gaming with that on, I really don't think I've used it too much without it. Or like 70 degrees Celsius on my GPU and like mid to upper 80s on the CPU, which crushed this thing. This thing is hot. The only thing is with this, the CPU doesn't even work with hardware monitor yet. I don't know if it's too new or what, but here I'll show you. Like, when I open it, I've tried uninstalling it, reinstalling it. I read in a forum some people were saying that because this Comet Lake is so new that they haven't had support for it yet. So like, it'll show me here what the utilization is, but not really anything else. So for me to actually see my temperature, I have to install this, or not install, but use this app right here. And in one of these, figure out where. Shows how much I use this software. Anyways, in here somewhere. So this is like the monitor, same deal, usage. In here somewhere, it'll give you a temperature readout for the processor, which is the only way that I've, you know, been able to see the temperature. But anyways, with the exposed mesh, that really makes a big difference. It is a little bit thicker. Let's see here, we'll put them side by side. There you go. You can see it is quite a bit thicker. But for me, whatever. I mean, it's a gaming laptop. I mean, I have a MacBook Pro that if I want to be like small and compact and just browse, you know, that's generally what I bring. But these right here are both like basically desktops. And right off the bat, I will tell you that this machine, although it was like half the price, is actually faster. Oh, let's look at this one. This is the GS65 Stealth. And this is a pretty much max spec. See here, you just get like a little bit of this ventilation on the bottom. It's not anything like that thing where you can see all on the bottom. This has a terabyte NVMe, so I have not opened this up to, you know, upgrade anything. There's really nothing to upgrade on this machine, honestly. Let's see. So aesthetically is beautiful. I love this touchpad. I'm still figuring out the gestures, like, so to right click you got to like double tap, and it's just something I'm not used to. The buttons in the center, I do really like all the gold trim. It's kind of flashy, but I do like it. The keyboard, honestly, when my brother first saw it, it was like, oh, it's a Razer, and I was like, kind of looks like a Razer, but it's not. Let's see, this one I still haven't even registered yet. They're both pretty much brand new machines, and I'm going to be selling one and keeping the other. The other one I was looking at was the ROG Zephyrus, the one that has like the keyboard down here. So you don't have to put your hand up here. You can just use the keyboard here, and then the like trackpads like over here, because I do use these machines with a external mouse. But here, I'll show you the specs on this thing. This thing is pretty crazy. This is a 240 hertz. It's a 9th gen i7, 32 gigs of RAM, terabyte solid state. Pretty much all the bells and whistles. Let's see, Beat Saber, I do VR. If y'all haven't done VR, I'm gonna make a video about VR. Let's see, accounts, general. So here's the specs. So we have the 2080 Max Q. We have the i7 9750H, 32 gigs of RAM, and then 1920 by 1080 at 240 hertz. The screens seem very similar to me. I'm not really like prefer one over the other. I do like this keyboard a lot better. I do like this trackpad a lot better. And I do like the aesthetic better on this. The 2080 Max Q, I will say, and I could be wrong going off benchmarks, but it does not seem as fast as the 2070 non-Max Q. The only thing you can see here too is this finish is such a fingerprint magnet. Look at that. This does illuminate, which I don't really care about. On this one, it doesn't. It's just gold. This one's a little bit more sleek. But the keyboard, definitely better. 32 gigs of RAM, same deal. I don't notice any performance increase with that. It's got a 9th gen instead of a 10th gen. But for me, it seems like for literally double the money, you're getting less performance. You're getting a little bit prettier of a machine, better specs on paper. I'm not really blown away by the 2080 Max Q. I mean, I really think it's like a 2060 mobile, you know, versus, you know, the whole Max Q thing. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell one, and I'm going to build a new desktop, and I'm going to make a video when I get my stuff to do my new desktop. So this right here would obviously fund a much better desktop than this. And I also, like I said, I've really, this has kind of been my daily driver. I have all my video stuff on here, and I've been using this machine, and I'm really impressed by it. This thing, temperatures on the CPU get to high 90s, you know, 100 degrees Celsius. GPU, usually around 80. Same deal, don't really notice much of a thermal throttle. My daughter was actually playing Fortnite on it a couple days ago, and it didn't seem to have any issues, no big frame drops or anything like that. But one thing I also noticed is, like, so in this gold trim, see, you can see right there, it seems like it kind of like nicks up. Like, I mean, this laptop, you know, was $3,000, and I treat it like that. I don't abuse it, and it seems like that like trim on it seems a little fragile. I do, you know, some people I saw were complaining about this and saying it should be a fingerprint reader, and honestly don't really care about any of that. You know, in a day-to-day use, I don't really notice it. My Mac has like the touch bar with the fingerprint reader, and it's a little convenient, but this, you know, I'm signed in with Google, and Google saves all my passwords, so whenever I go to do anything, it just, you know, it logs me in automatically anyways. But here, let's see, we'll open them so we can get kind of like a side by side. I do have different, like this is kind of like all over the place. I think they call that disco, and this is like just like the rainbow effect. They're both default. I haven't really played with it yet. The software by SteelSeries is awesome, I will say that. My actual desktop, I actually use a HyperX keyboard. I don't use SteelSeries, but like I said, I really I like the keyboard and mouse better on this machine, but I find myself using external anyways, and I do like the performance and cooling in this machine. And like I said, I feel like this one's got more horsepower, even though on paper this is the beast. Anyways, if you guys have ever owned, or I'm new to MSI and MSI laptops, I just got rid of an Alienware. I had the M15R2, and I was gonna make a review about it, and it like overheated and died, and I had to have Dell come out, and it's under warranty, and they had to completely tear it apart, put an entire new motherboard in it. Worked fine. Ended up selling it because it was a brand new machine, and rather than replacing it, they'd come and dissect it, and I just feel like once you do that, things aren't going to work as good as new. So everyone in the forums are pretty much saying MSI, so I kind of grabbed two different beasts, kind of the more thicker beast, and then like this thin portable, just absolutely overkill laptop. But in my own testing, so I'll post a picture of my scores here. This one in Cinebench got like a 7500, this one got like a 6500. So I'm not real like benchmark, this one's better than, because it benchmarked higher than this one. I go off my games, and in gaming, this one right here was cooler and better frames per second. This one, although looks pretty, more RAM and all that other cool stuff, wasn't getting as high frame rate. So in Fortnite, I was getting like about 140 to 150 in this. I was getting about 110, 120 or so in that. So considering that's a 2080, that's a 2070, I think I'm going to possibly get rid of this one, build a nicer desktop, and keep this, since that's kind of been my daily driver anyways. Y'all give me a comment if you guys own any one of these machines, or had experience with a 2080 Max Q and a 2070 non-Max Q. I'll show y'all. Show you guys my GeForce experience here so you can see the full specs. Let's see, same deal. I do VR on both of these, and it doesn't really tell me the frames per second, but there they are. So you can see it's a 2070 non-Max Q, so it'll focus, 10750H and 16 gigs RAM, and then 19x20 at 144 hertz. So let me know what y'all think. Which one would you guys rather see, and what kind of a desktop do y'all think I should be building? So, I mean, right now with the Rona going on, some of the parts are kind of hard to get. Pretty sure I want to go Ryzen. My last PC was a Ryzen 3800X, and I really had no issues with that. And Intel's just so expensive, and kind of seem like they're dropping the ball as far as performance per dollar. So if you guys have any ideas as to what I should build, definitely comment below, and I'll be reading and responding to my comments, because I have built like about a dozen different desktops in the last week or so, and I can't make up my mind. So anyways, GP65, GS65 Stealth, two awesome machines. Let me know which one y'all think I should keep. Please subscribe, like, and like I said, drop a comment below. Tell me which one you guys think and what kind of desktop y'all want to see come up on the channel.